Apologies for the theatrics, Craig. Your book has won too many awards. You've left us no choice. Your book is on the curriculum, and students are confused. We need answers.
You couldn't just send an email? Fine, if the students need my help.
Okay, in Jasper Jones, masculinity is a big influence on Charlie's growth. How does Charlie's need to be masculine affect his characterization?
I wanted to interrogate the traditional stoic model of masculinity present in small-town Australia, which limits how young boys like Charlie express vulnerability. For example, I juxtapose characters Charlie and Jasper to illustrate that physically strong individuals are often admired by those who are physically weaker. I demonstrate Charlie's admiration of Jasper's masculinity with imagery and narrative perspective. Charlie fearing his pansy sandals is a display of girlishness in front of Jasper and his defined muscles. In these moments, masculinity becomes a performance that Charlie feels compelled to replicate. I position the readers that this is destructive behavior and can sometimes escalate to dangerous actions. For instance, under stress, Charlie wishes for that cigarette offered by Jasper, a symbol of his desire to embody a tougher, more masculine persona. Additionally, I explore Charlie's fear of insects as a motif to present that toxic masculinity distorts boys' identities by punishing empathy. In a humorous scene, Charlie awkwardly asks Eliza whether she would wear a hat made of spiders or have penises for fingers, to which she answers penises. While humorous, this moment reveals Charlie's discomfort with honesty. He hesitates to answer truthfully, believing that a fear of insects is admissible for girls but shameful for boys. However, Charlie's eventual decision to confide in Eliza marks the point of defiance against the masculine ideal he once idolized. From this point on, Charlie's characterization mirrors his authentic thoughts. Overall, I position readers to understand that toxic masculinity teaches boys to fear empathy, and how these outdated ideals distort their ability to form authentic connections.
Okay, in Jasper Jones, masculinity is a big influence on Charlie's growth. How does Charlie's need to be masculine affect his characterization?
In Jasper Jones, I show that Charlie turns to literature to make sense of the injustices he confronts in Corrigan. As a character, Charlie is intelligent, curious, and deeply empathetic, but he lacks life experience. So when he's exposed to Laura's death and the town's cruel treatment of Jasper and Jeffrey, he reaches for stories to process its complexity. For example, Charlie draws on Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird as a kind of moral compass. Later, Charlie concludes Jasper must see him like Atticus Finch, dignified and reasonable and wise. Consequently, Charlie tries to see the world from Jasper's point of view, to reason it through as Atticus Finch might. By alluding to Atticus Finch, I position readers to deepen their understanding of Charlie's character by striving for integrity and fairness in Corrigan. Charlie also debates with Jeffrey whether Batman or Superman is braver, and in this moment, it may seem playful but reveals something fundamental about how Charlie sees heroism. He argues that Batman is more courageous because he's flawed, yet still chooses to fight for truth and justice, without any powers, just determination. These references shape Charlie's evolving sense of justice, that bravery isn't about perfection, but about persistence in the face of fear. Through these illusions, I frame Charlie's development as someone trying to build his own ethical framework in a town that lacks one. Later, when Charlie reads about Sylvia Likens, a real-life victim of horror and abuse, I show that his understanding of evil deepens. What disturbs him isn't just the crime, but that it was tolerated and even carried out by some ordinary people. This discovery compels Charlie to question the nature of morality itself. How thin is the line, he asks. It's a moment where he realizes that justice isn't always clear-cut, and neither is human nature. I want readers to feel this discomfort too. Not everything in the novel is given a neat resolution, because I'm challenging the idea that the world is easily divided into good and evil. Instead, I position readers to reflect on their own complicity, silence, or courage, especially when the right choice is hard or inconvenient.
Your portrayal of multicultural Australia is powerful. The Liu family and Jasper's heritage, what motivated their inclusion?
In Jasper Jones, I want to explore Australia's national identity, especially the way small-town myth-making can obscure real experiences of racism and exclusion. Rather than painting Corrigan as a lucky country, I use Charlie's perspective to expose the marginalization of those who don't fit in the dominant white narrative. Characters in the Liu family and Jasper Jones are central to this. The Liu family represent post-war migrant communities, and I show how prejudice against them is irrational and inherited, not earned. For instance, Sue Finley scolds Miss Liu in a shocking moment of racial violence. Sue Finley blames Miss Liu for her husband's death and her son being balloted through to Vietnam. I deliberately use visceral imagery, scalding her skin, to emphasize how personal grief is misdirected into racial hatred. The slurs hurled at the Liu family like Red Rat and Commie position the reader to reflect the tendency of large social groups to demonize those seen as the other. Jasper as an indigenous boy faces even harsher exclusion. I contrast his experience with Charlie's to reveal the impact of privilege. Jasper says the Glade kind of is my home, while Charlie finds it so difficult to breathe. This juxtaposition positions the reader to recognize that a place of safety for one character can be unsettling for another, depending on how society treats them. I use this growing awareness as part of Charlie's character development, as he starts to understand how justice isn't equally distributed. What's more, I describe Corrigan as a town of barnacles, with people who clench themselves shut. This metaphor captures how tightly the town clings to ignorance. By setting the novel just before the 1967 referendum, I highlight a time when Aboriginal Australians were still denied basic rights. Including characters like Jasper and the Lou family wasn't about diversity for its own sake. It was to challenge the myths of Australia as fair and equal. Through Charlie's shifting perspective, I position readers to confront the uncomfortable truths about who gets to belong and how silence enables injustice.
You're saying the novel isn't just about murder and mystery?
Exactly. It's about truth, how hard it is to find, how easily it is distorted. It's about empathy, trying to understand people who aren't like us. And it's about growing up, which, as Charlie learns, often means asking uncomfortable questions with no easy answers.
You may go now, but if you publish another confusingly deep novel, we'll be back.
You'll have to catch me first.